We've got everything set up. Everybody is still in the pits. Santi has changed to hards, as you can see on the left there. We're just waiting for someone to come out to see what they are gonna do. See, Izzy is usually one of the first to come out.
I'm fairly certain they're all trying to get their setups perfect for this race, as it will be a fairly long one. We have 50% lap, along with...
And Max goes out. We can also welcome Lex and Bob's your uncle to the stream. Welcome, guys. I hope you enjoy the stream a lot. But Mats is the first one to leave with Izzy behind him, and also Havoc in the Williams. We see sorry, had to cough there. We see Mats leading the pack in the Red Bull on his outlap right now on the softs. Then we have Havoc on the softs as well. Santi has just come out of the pits, and Izzy in the Alfa Romeo on the hards. We just got a message saying that the race and quali are both going to be fully dry, so maybe even sadly no rain today.
I know for a fact that rain would make this session very interesting indeed, but I guess we'll just have to see how it plays out. Matt's coming out leading the pack, as you said, throughout Sector 3. He's just turned up his ERS. I'm pretty sure he's going to get ready for a hot lap.
Yes,
Mark, if you would like to do us with the play-by-play.
Yeah, you do Sector 1, I do Sector 2 and 3.
Alright, let's move on to the onboard as he moves fairly quick down the start-finish straight, hitting 200, 201, 202, 203, braking fairly late into turns 1 and 2. He's going to have to watch his line in turn 3, especially as he goes fairly wide, touches a bit off the track, and approaches Sector 2, setting the fastest Sector 1 time of the session.
And as you said, 200 miles per hour is very fast. That is faster than Max, for example, meaning Max has a higher or lower downforce, setup than his teammate. We can, I'm curious to see the differences there. As we come into the infamous turn 9, I think there will definitely be some havoc there during the race, especially in the first lap, and then into the chicane of turn 10, nice and tight onto the curb. And turn 12 now, he kind of slows down a little. That was weird. And turn 14 and 50, or 14 and 15 now, nicely onto the curbs. It's very necessary to get that time, but he gave up on the lap. He's currently going into the pits.
Real quick, I think not Lika, but his teammate Havoc had a little incident approaching Sector 3 at turn 10. He seems to have spun out nearby turn 10, 11, and 12.
Izzy has just set the first lap of the session, 119.7, and you were right, Havoc did give up on his lap, yes, Havoc did give up on his lap, and then Santi is the second to set a lap, 121.0, and Mary in the Ferrari at 1.22.9.
And then there was another incident as well with AJ at turn 9, which is that long right-hander into the second DRS zone.
Yep, and we see Bagpuss coming out onto the pit straight here. Let's see what he does. He puts down a 120.2 to get the second fastest time of the session. Let's see. Mary, Bagpuss, Izzy, and Bagpuss are out now. Maximus is on his outlap. Let's see. He is currently going across the line, beginning his lap. You do Sector 1.
Real quick, if I may interject for a hot second, Backpuss has his entire lap invalidated because he extended the track. Maximus flying through turn 3 as he approaches turn 4, keeping it in 6th gear, going around turn 4 fairly quick, taking a nice amount of curb to try and keep his... Oh no, and he spins out! I
That is
think he
going
had
to
way too
ruin
much
his lap.
heat in the rear tires. I
Yep.
think he had way too much heat in his rear tires. That might have affected it. Tries to come on as slow as possible to try and prevent the tires from overheating. And behind him is our world champion, is a T in the Alfa Romeo, who currently sits on provisional pole with a 119.787.
Which is an insane lap considering he was on hard tires and also not using full ERS as he likes to do for some reason, maybe to keep it fair as he is one hell of a god. But he is on his second lap. There you can see in the bottom right corner with the little lightning bolt next to it, the 3 last lap, the lap he said he was doing the same thing around ERS mode 3 or 4. He comes into the 2 chicanes, 14 and 15, and he gets a little bit onto the curb there. It depends on if you have a very soft suspension or not, and he puts down a 1.19.4. That is again a very good lap for hards.
I think if he's setting lap times like this, which are the fastest in the session on the hard tire, imagine what he's going to be able to do on a soft tire. I think this is more of a strategical advantage on Alfa Romeo's point, trying to get their driver onto the hard tire so then he may last the longest in the race, sitting on pole position.
Yep, and that is usually a T strategy along with Max, as we can see, set a 133 because of the spin, of course.
Yes, and speaking of pole position, what do you think the fastest lap would be in the session? Real quick, Havoc or Lika? No wait, it was Havoc. Havoc spinning out on his out lap on the hard tire in sector 3, with Max close behind him, trying to set another lap time. I'm sorry.
It's
AJ.
fine. Leica
AJ
is currently
moving.
also on a hot lap. Is AJ on a hot lap as well?
AJ is currently on his first hot lap of the session on the soft tire.
And just to interrupt, sorry, Max actually had a very horrible exit out of turn 16, and he stopped just on the start-finish line there.
Yeah, I saw sector 3 yellow flag, but I didn't think anything of it. I thought he just was slowing down for his cooldown lap. But I am now transferring over to Leica, who's currently at turn 10, locking up his left front wheel there a little bit into the S's that are the 11 and 12. You see him using the 3rd gear, which might be risky for some more inexperienced drivers for traction control.
Sorry. Real quick, AJ setting the fastest lap of the session on the soft tire, a 118.875. That is going to be the fastest lap of the session, which puts him on provisional pole for the time being.
Yep, and Leica just set a 120.7. Let's see if he or Izzy might respond to AJ's time with an even faster time and maybe even a different tire compound, as AJ has set his time on the softs, meaning he will start on the softs. Maybe if he does set a faster time on hards, he would start on hards, of course, but that's unlikely.
Yes, I think, let me confirm real quick with Dr. Robot. Isn't AJ one of the newer drivers we brought into the league this season?
It was actually last season. He joined us as a reserve driver, and I think he raced in the final 2 races. Very, very quick. Set a fastest lap to take pole position at Baku, and may have also won that race. If someone needs to correct me on that, I'm not entirely sure. But yes, he's a new driver, fresh this season, and it's going to be great to watch him.
I think Izza T has his work cut out for him this season because there might be a new driver who's trying to make his way up into the ranks throughout this league to try and take that world championship spot away from Izza T. Real quick, Bagpuss had some trouble in Sector 2 trying to set a fastest lap time with the medium tire, maybe trying to improve it. There have been some fairly quick lap times, but let's see how quick Bagpuss can do it. Approaching turn 14 and 15, keeping it in second gear, dropping it down to first as he has a fairly quick exit and he goes into the pits. I'm sure a few of these drivers are going to be trying their best to adjust strategies mid-race.
Yep. Mary is currently on a hot lap as well, but AJ, as Robot said, competing in the last 2 races of the previous season, was an absolute dream team together with Pubbed, who we've now lost, not lost, but he quit driving, sadly, but they were scoring points very quickly. Mary actually gave up on his lap because he went out too wide on the last turn.
Real quick, Mary having a very aggressive entry into the pits. It's a surprise he didn't get a penalty from that, but we'll just have to see what happens. We currently have 3 cars on track. Maximus with that 133.611 after that spin is currently on his outlap. I just moved down to Matt's, to the broadcast camera. Matt's currently trying to set the fastest lap on the hard tire, maybe finish ahead of his teammate, get some of those extra points, get that rep. You know how it goes.
Very true. It's funny how nobody has tried to maybe slipstream their teammate or a person in front of him, as also the Red Bulls are both out on track now, but not slipstreaming each other. Lex in the chat says, AJ looking promising, and I have to agree with you. If he can keep the pace up, he is almost exactly a second faster than Izza T. If he can be that for his race pace as well, Izza T will have a hard time keeping up. So Mats is currently has just set a 120.6. Not bad on hards. Let's see what Max his lap was invalidated, if I was not wrong.
And on another thing, the thing with Spain, this track is known for its high degradation track. As you can see, if you jump to the onboard camera, if you notice by the tires, the marbles are everywhere. Marbles being the leftover rubber that comes flying off of the tires and goes out onto the edges of the track. It is very difficult to avoid those, especially locking up into a corner, just as Mats did on his front right, I believe. But anyways, it is a very interesting strategy to be running on the hard tires, because on the other tires, the hotter the temperatures, the more grip you'll have with them. I believe Mats is going to be coming into the pits after he's run out of fuel. Max has currently set one of the fastest laps, a 120.169 on the hard tire, which puts him ahead of his teammates.
And what you were just saying about the tire degradation, you have a very good point there, but Max having such a good qualifying position right now means he has always shown in the previous races that he is very, very good at keeping those tires alive. But Santi actually sets a very fast 118.7 just now, and Izza T has switched to the mediums. But to come back on the tire wear,
Backpuss!
Oh, Bagpuss is out of the session.
He's
had a terrible crash in Sector 2 past turn 9. It seems he lost it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yep, so when he came out of turn 9, I think he got too much outside curb, may have touched the gravel slightly, and that caused his rear just to completely lose itself on the track. Spun into the right-hand side of the track, lost his wheel, and unfortunately retired from the session.
I'm sure that's going to be very, very devastating news for Ferrari, since one of their drivers is not going to be able to continue into qualifying. I know a couple drivers will be taking the opportunity to try and finish ahead of Bagpuss, knowing that he will not be able to fight back with any of his laps. Santi, real quick before we move on, running out of fuel. I think he's going to be coming in this lap.
Yep, and Bagpuss had already set a time which was pretty good, a 120.2, enough for a 5th position on the starting grid. Let's see what the chat says here. Bob's your uncle says AJ versus Izzy round 1 fight. That is nice and quite true actually. That might just happen. Not actually, I hope they don't actually fight, but
as of right now, we have roughly 2 minutes left in the qualifying, and it seems that AJ has just spun out after approaching turn 3. It seems he went a bit wide and touched off the track a bit. That's definitely going to affect his time. He's got dust all over his tires. I think he was trying to set another fastest lap to try and extend his lead over Santi. The top 3. And he goes off again! That's going to knock off part of his front wing.
And I'm currently spectating Leica, so... But Leica just set a 119.5. AJ has retired from the session as he doesn't want to set any times anymore.
I think that is going... Well, I'm not entirely sure, but is he okay if he retired off of the track in the gravel, Dr. Robot? Because
it depends on why he retired. I mean, if he hit the wall and retired straight up, but if he's just retired his car, no. This is a practice session though, so if any drivers are unfamiliar with the rules, they can check them and they won't be penalised because this is the pre-season and we allow these things to happen. Yes.
All right, I'm just trying.
Oh, and we've got Mary spinning off in turn 2. Caught too much of the curb again, lost downforce on his front, and he has spun out.
Yep, he has lost almost his entire front wing and is now struggling to get back on track. Luckily, rejoining safely. And
that's definitely going to affect a lot. We do not have a lot of time. I don't think these drivers are going to be changing their lap times anytime soon. 20 seconds left on the qualifying clock before we get down to race day.
Let's see. Izzy has just set a lap 118.6 on the mediums, so he has changed his strategy as a reaction to AJ's time. Maybe he expected to be able to stay on pole with the hards, but he wasn't, so he went out and set another time on the mediums, and now he is in front of Santi, who sadly was saying in chat that he was very happy with that P2 as I dropped my controller. Yep.
Yeah, if I may interject here, this has been a very, very exciting battle for the top 3 spots. It seems as though, AJ and Izzy have just locked out the front of the grid, and this is going to be a very interesting race. Two of who are probably the fastest drivers in D1 battling it out. The champion versus the rookie.
Yep. Max is still on a hot lap currently. He is doing what actual F1 drivers do, trying to set the fastest time when or during the last seconds of the qualifying, and now he comes over the line with a 119.6 but doesn't move up any places, and that will do it for the qualifying of the Spain preseason event.
Okay, on a side note, I just got one of the best camera angles because it moved over to the helicopter camera for me as he was approaching sector 3. So that was a very interesting setup. If you would like to read out the current driver lineup, you may.
Yep, we have AJ for Racing Point sitting on top with the soft tire, followed by Izzy for Alfa Romeo on the medium tire, then Santi for McLaren softs, like Williams on the mediums, Max, Bagpuss, Mats, Mary, and Havoc. And that are all the drivers we have for today. Not even 10, but we will have to make do with it. I think even with 9 drivers, we will see some very interesting racing, as these drivers are very closely matched.